And we're going to go back to the agenda to C.3.1. And John, do you want to take us through our rule review?
Yes, Madam President. Board members, behind C.3 is the rule review plan for fiscal year 2022 to 2025 review and approval. State law requires that you review the rules on a 4-year cycle. And while the law requires you review the rules on a 4-year cycle, what you are doing is looking to see if you still need these rules. It is not about the content of them. We're going to have 2 sets today. The first ones are the ones up for adoption. We start with C 3.1.1. That concerns some sections of Chapter 291 concerning pharmacies, specifically community pharmacies or Class A's. Next, we have C 3.1.2 regarding Chapter 283 concerning licensing requirements for pharmacists. And finally, C 3.1.3, Chapter 315 concerning controlled substances. Those are, again, up for adoption.
All right. Comments, questions, or do I have a motion to adopt?
I make a motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion to adopt over here. I have a second, or from Randy Martin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, John.
All right, our next set, C 3.2, are rules up for proposal. I will tell you that you have seen these rules previously and voted to propose and adopt. But due to an issue with the register submission, we are presenting these again for proposal to ensure we fully comply with the process. So the ones up for proposal today start with C 3.2.1, that's Chapter 281 concerning administrative practices and procedures. C 3.2.2 regarding Chapter 311, that's the Code of Conduct. 3.2.3, Chapter 291 concerning pharmacies, and that's all classes of pharmacies. C.2.4, Chapter 291 concerning pharmacies or clinic pharmacies, Class Ds. C 3.2.5 concerning Chapter 291, that's concerning pharmacies, non-resident pharmacies, or Class Es. And finally, C 3.2.6, Chapter 295 concerning pharmacists. And again, those are up for proposal.
All right, there are no points of discussion. Do we have a motion to propose?
Motion.
Bradley Miller has made a motion to propose. Rick Tisch has a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, carries. John, we had scheduled for 1:15 a consideration for proposal for decision. Can we go ahead and go to that? It's a little early.
It has to be right at 1:15.
Right at
I'm so
1:15.
sorry.
Okay.
My laptop has 114, by the way.
Yeah, the laptops are a little off. Yeah, that's
So we're going by the laptop.
then we will go to
Can I suggest doing E.2?
That was my thought. Didn't I thought of it? Okay. We will go to E.2. So, David, if you would to join us. Dan, you want to start?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. This is the report on the Prescription Monitoring Program Advisory Committee. So that committee met on December the 14th for the purpose of introducing new members, and they elected a new physician chair. Good discussion, good, nice engagement with that physician group about the PMP program and kind of where we're headed with that. David Merriman is here today. He's our State Board Pharmacy manager of the PMP program, and so he's going to give us a little more insight to that meeting.
Good afternoon. As Dr. Carroll mentioned, the PMP Advisory Group met on December 14th, 2023 C.3. Several new members sat for their first meeting, including Dr. Mitch Engel, Dr. Katharina Hathaway, Dr. Carlos Cruz, Dr. Anna Jessup, and Dr. Lauren Morales. I also should highlight the fact that we still do have a vacant position among the advisory group. That vacant position is for a physician that performs surgery. We would certainly like to fill that if we could. Also, as Dr. Carroll mentioned, Dr. A.J. Kirk was elected as presiding officer for the year. Sarah White and Emily Donahue with Bamboo Health, the PMP vendor, gave a presentation to the group. In addition, Susan Kirch with the UT Center for Health Communication also presented to the group. And finally, I would mention that the group elected to meet quarterly, and the next meeting is scheduled for March 28th, 2024. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions if anyone had any.
None? Thank you.
That's it.
Point 3.
Yes, there was no, the Interagency Prescription Monitoring Program Work Group, there was no meeting. But there was no meeting scheduled and there's nothing coming up.
Next on our agenda is our financial updates. Ruben, you want to come forward?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I will be going over the items within F.1 regarding the agency's financial updates, which have been previously provided to you. I want to start by stating that the financial documents provided to you, starting with F.1.1, is the agency's budget status report and reflects expenditure standing as of the end of the first quarter of fiscal year 2024. The next item on the agenda is F.1.2. This spreadsheet details and reviews the board's in-state and out-of-state cumulative travel expenses for the end of the first quarter of fiscal year 2024.
All right, do you have any questions for Ruben?
And lastly is F.1.3. For the first quarter of fiscal year 2024, there weren't any consideration of material changes to contracts for goods and services for review. I want to thank the members of the board for review of these financial items. And at this time, I am available for any questions you may have regarding any of the documents I provided.
Are there any questions for Ruben?
I have a question. And I'm sure I'm all in the suit. Is this budget flat year over year, generally speaking, or are expenses flat year over year?
Pretty flat. We're being very conservative right now in the first and currently in the second quarter. We are going to make intensive reviews at mid-year, probably happens in early March where we stand. At that point in time, depending on expenditures that have been done already, we're going to see whether or not we're going to be doing any kind of transfers into other departments for potential contracts that may be coming through or unexpected expenditures that we may see. There may be some items that we may want to purchase towards the end of the year, like some vehicles, so it may go sharply up or down towards the end of the year. Right now, we are holding flat because we want to be conservative and then make our considerations towards the end. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Thanks, Ruth.
All right, we now have 116. So, John, do you want to take us down to 8?
All right. and this is regarding a proposal for decision regarding Ms. Taylor and her pharmacist license. On October 16, 2023, a proposal for a decision was issued by an administrative law judge, or ALJ, of the State Office of Administrative Hearings in the matter of the contested case of TSBP versus Tory Michelle Taylor. For procedural history, Ms. Taylor holds pharmacist license 40638. Now, the ALJ found by the preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Taylor violated the Pharmacy Act and the board's rules due to her failure to comply with the reporting requirements of the Texas Prescription Monitoring Program, or the PMP. However, the board staff had also alleged that while Ms. Taylor was serving as the PIC, the pharmacy failed to operate for a period of 30 days or more. The ALJ made findings of fact in his proposal for decision that the pharmacy was not operating, had no inventory, and had no other employees when Ms. Taylor started as the PIC. Further, the ALJ found Ms. Taylor did not order any medications to be dispensed during her time as the PIC. In the PFD from the ALJ dismissed the failure to operate allegation because he reasoned that since Ms. Taylor was not a pharmacy, that she was not required to comply with Board Rule 291.11a. That rule requires that a pharmacy not cease to engage in the business of pharmacy, which means discontinuing operating the pharmacy for a period of 30 days or longer, unless the pharmacy experiences a fire or disaster, in which case the pharmacy must provide required notifications. The administrative law judge misinterpreted the law. A PIC is responsible for ensuring the operation of a pharmacy. On October 24th, 2023, staff filed written exceptions to the proposal for decision, alerting the ALJ to the error in reasoning that a PIC was indeed responsible for the pharmacy not operating under the law. Board staff also pointed to multiple prior proposals for decisions from other administrative law judges who had found PICs responsible for a pharmacy failing to operate. On November 2nd, 2023, the ALJ denied the request for exceptions and refused to amend the proposal for decision to recognize that a PIC is responsible for the operation of a pharmacy. As PIC, Ms. Taylor was responsible for ensuring the pharmacy's compliance with statutes and rules relating to the practice of pharmacy under Board Rules 291.32A2H and 295.3. Those rules also include 291.11, which regards the operation of the pharmacy. So because the ALJ failed to find Ms. Taylor responsible as the PIC under the law for the pharmacy's failure to operate, the board order in front of you, and it is titled board order, there's two of them. There's board order and there's ALJ board order. But the board order in front of you has an amended conclusion of law number 5 and new conclusions of law numbers 6 and 7 that were added. This was done in accordance with Texas Government Code section 2001.058E. That's the Administrative Procedure Act. This was done because the administrative law judge did not properly apply the applicable law, agency rules, or prior administrative decisions. Board Rule 291.11A2 provides that a pharmacy may not cease operating for a period of 30 days or longer unless the pharmacy experiences a fire or disaster. Findings of fact that the ALJ did include, findings of fact number 4, 5, and 8, provide that when Ms. Taylor was hired as the PIC of the pharmacy, it was not operating, and that it had no inventory, and that it did not dispense operating, or not commence operating, because Ms. Taylor did not order any medications to be dispensed during her time as the PIC. Board Rules 291.32A2H and 295.3 provide that the PIC is responsible for the pharmacy complying with all statutes and rules regarding the practice of pharmacy, including the legal operation of the pharmacy itself. This includes the PIC ensuring compliance with section 565.002A7 of the Act and the rule at issue here, Board Rule 291.11A2. As mentioned in prior administrative cases, both administrative law judges at the State Office of Administrative Hearings and the board itself, through the board orders that were subsequent, has found a PIC responsible for the legal operation of the pharmacy, including complying with Board Rule 291.11. Two recent cases include Board Order number 2020-02565. That was the patient care.
May I have your attention, please? There has been a fire emergency reported in the building. Please evacuate the building by the nearest exit. Do not use the elevator.
Please lock your computers.